going on YouTube is more motivation reactions, back from another reaction video. So I'm on this guy's channel, Legion of Men, and there's a video here. I probably should get the original video, but basically it talks about marriage, how it's a scam and how the system is so flawed. I couldn't believe the story when I first saw it, so I figured I'll do a reaction on it with you so that you can witness this with me. But from what I heard about it so far when I watched it previously, really sad. But let's see if I can learn some things that I didn't learn the last time with you. Anyways, so let's get into the video, folks. Like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos.
Finally, it looks like we got more cold temperatures coming next week, but I guess that's just the way and the nature of it when you got kind of the polar vortex they're talking about. Today, I wanted to delve into a little bit more personal stuff, sort of a warning for those of you who don't really understand the nature of marriage, especially in the Western world today. And I'm going to delve into my experience and my story quite a bit deeper. For warning, this is a bit of a horror story, and you are going to be reeling from it and probably hiding under your covers by the time I'm done telling you everything. Here goes. As most of you know, there's a huge amount of divorce happening. The rate of divorce is somewhere between 50 and 60%, depending on which numbers you look at. And a lot of people are getting divorced because initially the woman files for divorce.
Crazy, man.
Simply because our society is completely falling apart, and it's encouraging people to break up families over literally nothing, go chasing after your dreams, break up everything, and ruin your life. Well, I have a personal horror story that will kind of explain a little bit of my motivation, even for starting my YouTube channels, and especially this one, and kind of fill you in on my background to a certain degree. I went through a divorce. I was married years ago, had kids when I was young, and I've been told I look a little younger than I actually am. I'm in my mid to late 40s. I don't like to give too much identifying information. I'm Steve, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, he's doing great though. But definitely will say I really do appreciate people that go and went through this, actually telling the story and actually keeping people informed so that they are warned, so that they can prepare. Because I have a family friend that's dealing with this kind of thing too. Accused for things he didn't do, has a kid there, and basically this person that is with is not even from the country. So basically used him for a green card, basically. Anyways, let's just keep going. But thank you so much for doing this, because you are saving a lot of lives you may not even know you are. Believe me.
To get right into it, after the divorce, they ended up, after everything was happening, they ended up giving her alimony. She wanted to file with the court to get alimony. There were several things that were really in the way of it that I attempted to protest. She was living with a man, very likely pregnant with his child at the time, and doing stuff together on bank accounts, and even the following year, filing their taxes together, even though she was legally married to me. What? Still going through the divorce. As time went on, I eventually got a hold of an attorney who was able to help me with it, but part of the reason why I had to is that when I initially protested all of this, the judge looked right at me and said, well, you can't just come in here and say that because she's living with this other person involved in a romantic relationship, you're going to have to provide some kind of evidence or proof. Which led me to go through multiple different attorneys until somebody wasn't shaking in their boots and actually would take this on fight. To get to that point, we eventually I found a good attorney that was willing to do that. We got a hold of a private investigator, got a hold of the information, but as you know, in the court system, sometimes you can be waiting for 6, 8, 10 months for a court date to get something in front of a judge and get something addressed. After a few years, finally towards the end of the divorce, and after they were likely going to determine that I owed some sort of debt, which unfortunately where I live, debts cannot just be vacated afterwards. So she essentially can potentially get cash and prizes even if caught lying. Now my attorney warned me. What?
That's heartbreaking to hear, man. That is so annoying. So they can be caught basically cheating and lying, like trying to cheat the system and trying to lie and still be rewarded for it. I just listened to what else he had to say. What's the world coming to? Jesus, come back.
What? That's probably what's going to happen. So we're going to get in there, we're going to have the private investigators' evidence, we're going to have all this evidence against her, and even when she gets caught lying, they aren't going to do a thing about it. She'll be caught committing perjury and fraud, personally against you and having manipulated the court system, and they're not going to do anything about it. They're just going to strip it from here on forth. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I'm going to owe a debt, even though she's being forced to admit and proven with evidence that she lied about it all? And he was like, yep. And he goes, you're going to hate the system after that, and I did. How can you? How can you support that level of corruption? So we got in there. Yes, she got convicted of alimony fraud, essentially. They stripped her of any further alimony payments. They weren't able to vacate the old debt because certain, I guess you could say, feminist laws have taken place here where they kind of contradict common sense. So if somebody gets caught committing fraud, they shouldn't be able to benefit or profit from it.
Yeah.
But the way that it was structured and set up, there's a division of support enforcement that handles things like everything from child support to other things, and they're the ones that would eventually take on this debt. And then
Crazy.
make me pay.
What?
Which means I am paying for somebody to live with another person, have children with them, live a whole life with them, and I can't really do much of anything about it. I might be able to file a personal lawsuit. And this is when the story gets very, very...
Can you imagine that, folks? You're with this person you think cares about you and you care about them. You get married to them. You get a divorce. They're with a new person, living with them, have a bank account with them, doing a bunch of things with them. And you're there paying for them destroying the relationship. You're paying and funding the new person's relationship, as in the new guy with your ex. Can you imagine that? What person deserves this? And what kind of system is this? Yeah, it's corruption. And how can any man looking at this be motivated to marry? How? Minus God in the picture. Because some people say God first. You have a bunch of people with scriptures in their profile, right, that don't actually do things to demonstrate that they're God-fearing. You have these individuals saying that getting in marriages and destroying the other person's life. It happens both sides, men and women, but more so against men. We cannot sit here and disagree with that. So what's the motivation of it now? What? If God isn't like the center of it, what? What is the motivation? You just have to be really careful. Really, really careful. Like I said, I have a family friend dealing with this right now. I have a family friend dealing with this right now.
Very crazy.
What? How is it not insane already? You perjury for money. Question to Wick just shared that. Are you? And God knows the thing he gets a girlfriend. He's like, this in entire sex. In the marriage, God speak should point. When we're check after one of the of the grounds that not only did she have children with the guy that we could prove, she filed taxes jointly together with him, which showed that they were obviously tied together, that her name was on his bank accounts. And on top of all of that, they had, they've been living together pretty much the whole time, and she even had to admit to it in court. Well, it gets crazy because he and several other attorneys that have been fighting for cases like this and trying to, as they win each case, it sets a precedent, it helps other people. I end up getting a message from somebody one weekend saying, your attorney's missing.
What?
Just a friend, a buddy of mine on Facebook, I go and look, and there's this poster that's being shared digitally and shared all across social media saying, yeah, he just went missing.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I'm not even kidding, this sounds like something out of a...
What? Oh my goodness, man. Are you kidding me?
Some novel like The Firm or something where lawyers are ending up dead, and two other attorneys over the last year and a half, around that same time, one of which had been fighting similar cases like this, ended up dead from a hit and run that they never figured out who did it.
What the hell?
All of that was incredibly disturbing. The attorney at that point, I had known him for years. He was engaged to be married. He had been married before. He was engaged to be married to another woman, and it was never official.
That's crazy, man. That is something you hear in a movie or a TV series. That's crazy. Man. The fact that you're just sitting there talking about this, like, I don't really see any emotion. Props to you, man. Props to you. And thanks for warning us. Because, like I said, like, it's not fair is not even the right word. It's very corrupted.
Officially determined what their cause of death was. It was whispered about suicide. I had a very, very hard time believing in that. Put me back to a point to where now I'm stuck without any attorney because I can't find anybody willing to actually investigate and fight this. They pretty much shy away from me the minute I tell them who my attorney was and tell them anything about it, and all sorts of strange stuff that's happened with all of that. Just, oh man, I could go into it, like records that people can't seem to find about previous court dates and other things like that that should be readily available, yet nobody can really look at. So it is pretty much a horror story confirming my ultimate point of this video that, generally speaking, marriage is just a sham. Marriage is completely a racket that ends up raking you completely over the coals, and you need to be very, very careful, tread lightly. In all my court dates and the stuff of dealing with attorneys that I now know way more about than I would ever really want to know, I will tell you that prenuptial agreements get thrown out like crazy.
Really?
They just talk.
What? Even that isn't a good option. Are you kidding me?
your prenuptial agreement.
Yep.
You'll be stuck owing for all sorts of different bills and things, and if you are really careful with an attorney, you might get out of some of it. But the only real way that you can do that is to watch your own back. Do not trust the system. Do not trust what people are going to tell you. Set it up to where there's no way around it except for the person that if you get involved at all, which I recommend being extremely careful about, especially with most women here, because even if they don't have it in their mind to do that, they go talk to an attorney, and the attorney's like, oh yeah, balls, you know,
that.
You know what? I can see that too, man. It's all about profit, to be honest. Marriages, divorces, child support, anything of those categories is profit. If I'm the lawyer, I'm looking to make more, right? It's not a moral thing. I wish there was a moral code they followed, but unfortunately that's not the case. I don't know how it is here in Canada compared to the US, but the system it's goodness.
At parts we can say how much
away with it, and you get to collect prizes, and they won't do a thing to you. They won't charge you with fraud. They won't charge you with perjury. You get away with it, and you get to collect money, and so do I. And the attorneys all know this. My attorney, when we went into court and caught her committing fraud and perjury, as far as alimony is concerned, he warned me. He said, they're not going to do anything. Now, here's the flip side of that. If the person paying, which is usually the man, some women get caught up in this web too. If the person paying gets caught doing any kind of deception, they take away your freedom, send you to jail, you're in huge trouble. They come after you 6 ways from Sunday, and they absolutely destroy your life. If it's even suggested or hinted that you might be committing fraud, or maybe even if you made a mistake, which I don't know hardly any guys that came in there trying to trick the system. They want kids, and within reason, if that's what's necessary. But
it's sad, man.
It's just absolutely incredible how the laws conflict. It works in the favor of people that commit fraud and perjury, and they get away with it. So yeah, that's why this video is really entitled "Marriage is a Sham," because believe me, it is. Watch your back. Be very careful who you are with. Now, I want to mention something. During the course of all of this, I don't want you to throw women just in general under the bus, because we're each individual. When you say men do this and women do that, yeah, there are generalities that are true. But I have encountered women that, when under pressure, refuse. Manipulate the system, take their ex to the cleaners, and get a bunch of money that they weren't really.
All right, that gives a little bit of hope.
Entitled to. I have encountered women that refuse to go down that road, refuse to take the bait, were very honorable about it, and recognized what was going on, and thought, this is not right. I'm not going to be able to sleep well at night if I know I'm going to move forward with another man, and I'm getting paid by another guy to do it, and I have to constantly watch my back and make sure that I don't get caught. I don't bother to tell them, you might not, even if you do get caught, my ex got cash and prizes for it. So
crazy.
Absolutely watch your back. Do not get married under the regular system unless you are extremely careful, or you can find another way to basically have, not necessarily a common law marriage, but check the laws in your state, speak to an attorney, and become legally aware of what could potentially happen to you. I mean, there are states where people are paying for kids, legally mandated to pay for children that aren't even theirs. And even when it gets
that's not even right.
You can't do anything.
That's not even right. That's not even right. So there's a video here of basically a single mother going through the evil things she did to probably one of her exes. I guess it's an Instagram post. Let's check it out.
I have a video.
Listen, tell me, what do you want to know?
It's the most toxic thing that you've ever done.
Oh, okay, let's do this. All right, take them to court, and then get a good divorce lawyer, of course. Take them for half of the retirement, take them half of their property, and then fight them for.
Look at this demon.
And a couple of years from now, hit you up for more child support every 3 years. Every 3 years, you go up from maybe 200 to 300 to 400 to 500. You bring it up to 2,000.
What an evil. I'm not even gonna say the word here. Degrading. That's degrading.
Imagine what that daughter's like with the nanny.
That's degrading.
Situation like this. I told you guys the family environment is especially shows and show fabric of sink heads and destroy relationships.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop the video there, folks. We definitely got enough of that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you want me to react to more of these videos. I personally don't like reacting to these kind of videos, but it's good to once in a while just look at this, just to be warned, and to also push out the message for all of us to be careful. Really know who you're around, know who you're going to be involved with, and know the laws in your state, like the person said in the video, Steve James. But thank you for the video, Steve. I'll definitely have the link of the original video in the comment section or in the description, so you can go look at it. And that's about it. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more reaction videos. God bless.